Hi, this is Wess K once again for Figure Friday, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars Black Series Boba Fett. This is definitely the most popular figure out of the series already, and it'll probably stay that way. Boba Fett's been really hard to track down and find, which is one of the reasons we're going to do the review on it. A lot of people haven't been able to get their hands on it yet. Price point is kind of high on him. A lot of people are ranging the prices all over the place. So we're going to give you a little review, and maybe it'll help your decision be a little easier whether to invest that money into this figure. Now, this is already the second time Boba Fett has been done in this line. He kicked off this line at the San Diego Comic-Con for 2013. The difference was he came in a longer box, and he also came with the Han Solo and Carbonite accessory. This regular Boba Fett comes with all of the other accessories, the blaster, the pistol, and of course the infamous jetpack. You can't have a Boba Fett without the jetpack. So we're going to take a look at this line. Star Wars Black is a new line for Star Wars. In all the years they've been doing Star Wars, this is really the first time they've given us a high quality 6-inch figure. Since Hasbro took over Marvel and started doing the Legends line, it's something we've been talking about, if they were ever going to give it to us or not. Hasbro finally decided to give it a try, and so far the 6-inch line has been a really good success for them. The packaging style is done very nicely. It's a nice, simple black packaging with the window box. You don't need to take the figures out if you're one of those collectors that likes to have them in. It's got the hanger so that you can put it on the wall very easily, and then if you needed to swap or switch characters, it'd make it really easy. Once you get your layout there, it's just taking a piece down, putting a piece back up. The one fault with this packaging style, unfortunately, is since it's a matte black finish, every little scratch, dink, and dent shows on this a lot. So getting figures that are like perfect box condition is going to be hard. First, they've been handled by people that work for Hasbro, and then if they get sent to other shipping companies, they break up the cases and then redo their waves and put them back in. So it's going to be hard to get ones where the boxes are in 9s. But the way the box is done with the window style, the figures are going to be kept in really good shape, and like I said, you don't really need to take them out. It's also got the little bit window on the side, on this side, so that depending on where you're putting them, you will get a little light that comes into here and kind of makes the figure shine a little bit more. But as I was saying, if you take a look real quick, you can see some defects and imperfections on the packaging already, little splotches and things like that. So if you're a stickler for packaging, you're probably going to have some problems with this line because it's going to drive you crazy trying to find ones that are in perfect condition. The only way would probably be from whoever your local distributor is, or somebody like an online retailer specifying that you want ones in mint condition and hoping it can actually do that. Other than that, you're just going to have to hunt around and check them like we do with most other cards and packaging for the figures. So right now we're going to open up this box and we're going to pull Boba Fett out. We're going to take a look. The one good thing is they just put a little piece of tape here. The tape that they use is really thin. It breaks pretty easily. So far they've done all the figures the same. They come in the plastic tray. Each one has been molded for that particular figure, so it holds it nice and tight. So far with this line, they haven't done twist ties, rubber bands, or things like that, so popping the accessories out is really easy, and Hasbro's actually spent the extra couple of minutes to mold the plastics for each individual accessory. Being that they've put that much detail into the packaging for the figure, hopefully that means that as future characters come out, they're going to pay a lot of attention to the detail of those specific characters. So let's start popping out some of these accessories. We have Boba Fett's jetpack. Anybody who's familiar with Boba Fett knows this is a must-have for a Boba Fett figure. We have his blaster and then his rifle. Now they did a really good job with the detail on both of these weapons, especially the blaster. Now if you look at the blaster, you can see that on the barrel and the scope, they made it wear for the paint job. Now Boba Fett's had this gun in his possession for who knows how many years at this point, at least 16, from when he is a young child until he becomes the bounty hunter Boba Fett. So they did a good job with the paint job, not making it look new, not making it look fresh. And one thing we'll probably see, being that I haven't seen a lot of the accessories, is most of them, the wear will probably be a little bit different on the gun. So they did a nice job of not making it look new and fancy. You have to remember that at this point in the Star Wars universe, when Boba Fett's around, everything's in chaos, things aren't nice and new. So it's a nice thing that they did, not giving us just a simple black painted gun. Now, This is the first time that Hasbro has gotten into this scale, and they've given these figures full articulation, just like they have with the Marvel Legends line. One nice thing that they did right here is they did the cloth out of cape and not a rubber material, so that's really nice. They also did a good job of tattering it, again, so it's not nice and all fancy and in perfect condition. If you watch the movies, you'll notice there's some fraying and tattering on his cape that he has, so they did a good job with also showing some wear on that. Okay. They have given us some good articulation on the head. I don't think it's more because of the joint, more because of the helmet is kind of an empty feature, as we'll try to tilt him a little bit so that you could see. It's basically just a helmet on a peg. Now, this is one thing that Hasbro, of course, could have done a little bit different for us at this point in time. In the original trilogy for Star Wars, Boba Fett was unknown. But since we've had the prequel movies, which a lot of us like to pretend aren't out there, Boba Fett not only has a face, but he has an identity. And it would have been nice if they would have gone the one extra step and given us a helmet that actually comes off of this figure, since this is supposed to be their more highly detailed line geared towards the more adult crowd. It would have been nice if they would have went the one little extra step and given us a helmet that comes off and have Boba Fett's face underneath. But again, that's probably something that Hasbro plans on doing later, so then when they re-release Boba Fett a second time, there's something new so that we don't complain about a repackage. That's what we're hoping for anyway. Right here you can see on the shoulder, they did an okay job, but they didn't do a great job on this one. For whatever reason, it looks like they gave us a full articulation joint, but the way they did the shoulder pad right here, as you can see, it's only going to allow the arm to go up that much when it's turned right like this. Again, this is something that they should think about when they're doing the figures. You can see that he's got the shoulder pad on this joint right here, but they set it back a little bit where the arm goes a little bit more. But again, it's not giving us full articulation, so they took the time to give us a fully articulated shoulder joint with the ball joint, but the way they did the padding on it, it's not going to give it full range of motion, which again is something they really need to take the time and think about when they're going to tell us they're giving us a highly detailed figure. Highly detailed and non-moving shoulders don't really go, in my book anyway. I don't know about you. They did a good job with the elbow joint, as you can see right in here. The elbow joint is a full ball joint, so it's going to give us full range of motion. The one thing I don't like, though, is that they gave us another upper joint here on the bicep, but they changed the way they do it. So, as you can see right here, in some different poses, depending on the way you have the arm turned, you're going to see that it doesn't line up. And I don't know, it takes away from the niceness of the figure. As you can see, no matter what way you kind of change this elbow in, there's only one pose where it really is tight and it looks perfect. And unfortunately, that's something that they've already kind of perfected with the Marvel Legends line. Having a good bicep into elbow joint where it can hold multiple poses and not kind of look funny. Unfortunately, in this one, this is the only time his arm is really going to look good. Any other time you change it, it's going to show this right here. And I know for a lot of you out there, just like me, it's going to be something that annoys you. No matter how far away on the shelf he is, you're going to notice it. Now, they gave us the fully articulated wrist joint. So it's got the swivel motion, but then it's also got the up and down, so it can hold multiple poses. And you can see right here, they did a good job with the glove work and everything, making sure that there's enough space so that it can actually contain some poses. So this is one thing hopefully Hasbro gets right with the Star Wars line. Hopefully eventually they pay proper attention to all the joints and all the detail in the figure, not just some. But again, they're still new to this. This is only the second wave. Wave 3 will be coming out in late January, early February. So hopefully the line gets better as it goes. Okay, they did a good job with The leg joints, as you can see right in here, they gave us the fully articulated leg joint. Okay, not only does it have range of motion on the leg, but they also gave the upper leg joint. So you'll be able to swivel the hip around, but you'll also be able to turn the leg. Now with this Boba Fett figure at the moment, this other joint is nice. How useful it's going to be, we don't really know. Right here, they did a good job on the knee. They gave us the double articulated knee joint so that you can move his upper leg or you can move the bottom leg, bottom half of the leg. They did a good job also too with the padding right here on the knee, the plate work. It's very good, it's very detailed, but they also made sure to leave enough space so that it's not hindering the motion of this double knee joint that they put in. Also, we got a good job on the ankle joint. It's got the full ball joint on the ankle, so it's going to go up and down, and then it's also going to swivel side to side. Once again, if Hasbro decides to start making accessories that go along with these weapons or play sets, it'll be nice that they have all this articulation because we'll be able to put him in multiple poses. They did a very good job with Boba Fett's detail, the armor and the plate work. They did a really good job with all of his little accessories, as you can see here, especially on the wrist. One thing I definitely want to point out. As you can see, they did a nice job with the silver paint and then the red and the blue. They did a good job with the dotting where the red and the blue is covering what it needs to be, but it's not slopped on there, it's not overlapping. And that's a lot of small little detail right there. That's a very tiny little piece to get the paint job on. And they did a really good job on it. So they are really trying to take their time and get a good quality figure out for us. But like everything else, there's going to be little things that we're not happy about at first, and hopefully they get better with it. Now the one thing that they also did really good too is especially on his helmet. We're going to spin him around here so you can see the back of his helmet, and then we'll show you the front also. They did a good job with the wear on his armor. Again, if this Boba Fett figure would have came out and all the green and yellow paint was perfect and nice and new, we would hate it, because that's not how it looked. Boba Fett had a lot of wear on his helmet. He's a bounty hunter. He's been through a lot of skirmishes at this point, and his armor's pretty mangled at this point. Now we're going to spin him around so you can see the front of his head, and they also did a good job with the wear right around the visor, and especially the dent on the top of the helmet. Okay, they also did a good job of wear on his chest plate. There's some wear on the knee plates. There's even a little bit of wear on his boot. Okay, they also did some wear on the shoulder plates, on the arms, the shoulders. So they did a good job with the wear on the figure, and you can see that they took their time. They tried to make the paint a little shiny, so not only is the wear effect there, but it kind of stands out. It's not muted. So they did a really good job so far with the detail on this figure. Articulation, like I said, is pretty solid. They did the cape out of cloth. They also gave us a good holster. Okay, I hate when they do things like taking a blaster and a holster and molding it out of one solid piece of plastic where the gun doesn't come back out. That is something that should not be done, especially on a figure that's, touted as a high detailed figure thing. They definitely did a good job styling the arm where he's going to be able to come back and actually get the pose where it looks like he's going and reaching for his blaster, so we can either have him with the blaster already drawn, just about to go and do it, or we can actually pull this back out. Okay. And we're going to pop it into his hand right here. Okay. And there's a classic pose of Boba Fett with his little blaster. Now, like I said before, we can actually come back and style it where it will kind of be drawn. But as you can see, they could have given us a little bit better job on this elbow joint. If they would have eliminated this other piece and just given us a regular elbow joint, the elbow would bend so he could perfectly be in a quick draw little motion. But we still got the basic gist of it, and they did a good job on it. Again, this line is still new, so there's going to be room for improvements. Hopefully they actually listen to the consumers, check out some of these reviews people are doing, and make some modifications. Now we're going to pop his jetpack right on. It's got a peg right here in the back. Okay, so we're going to hook this jetpack on because Boba Fett's just not Boba Fett without a jetpack. Okay, it pops in really nice and easy. They did a good job with it again. We're going to spin and give you some multiple looks at Boba Fett with the jetpack. One other thing I want to point out, they did a really good job on this wrist especially. As you can see right here, we got the little wrist rocket, which is Boba Fett's known for, and then we also got the flamethrower accessory. So for all of us out there that like to do customizing, flame effects will be added to this very soon. Okay, now the other rifle that we have is supposed to go in his hand also too, so we're going to take a quick look at that. As you can see right here, the way they did it with this double loop back here, it's going to take a little bit to get this handle in his hand and have his thumb go through here perfectly to hold it. So we're going to try and pop it in. Once again, when you're putting in weapons, especially guns and blasters like this, be easy, be gentle, go slow. These pieces are pretty thin, and it is something that could potentially break on you, and the last thing you want to do is break a piece on Boba Fett. Okay, so we're going to take this one right here, and we're also going to try and pop it into the hand. As you can see, the way the hand is grooved, you got to kind of get the handle in first, and then spin the butt around onto the thumb. Okay, as of right there. Now that's how it should go in, pop it in nice and easy. Now it should go in both hands equally well. I'm right-handed, so I naturally always put guns into the right hands of the characters when I'm doing it. Okay, now the way they styled it with the gun, the butt can come around the wrist. We give it a little bit of turn, and then they made this hand so that it's supposed to bend, and the hand will turn like that, and then the front of the gun is meant to snap into the thumb right here, which we're going to do like that. And again, it gives us another kind of classic Boba Fett pose. Him just standing there holding his gun like the bounty hunter that he is. They did a good job on this Boba Fett figure. We're going to get down to the rating point of it right now. If I have to rate this figure, I definitely give it a 8.5 out of a 10. There's a couple little tiny drawbacks. Like I said, the little bit of thing with the shoulder with this extra upper bicep joint, it kind of throws it off a little bit. Like I said, when you turn it in certain ways, it's going to kind of look a little funky, like you can see right here. It's not lining up perfectly. It's going to matter to some people more than others. That's why I'm doing the 8 at 8.5. I don't want to take a lot away for it. I understand what they were trying to do by giving us a lot of motion in the arm, but it kind of has a drawback because it doesn't look as nice as it can. They definitely get a good high mark because of the cloth cape, the attention to detail, the wear on the armor. The reason that I'm going to take a point off is because of the helmet not having a face underneath. That's one thing that just annoys me. I'm so tired of helmets of characters that we know come off and not having a face underneath. So for that, I'm taking a point away, and then I'm going to take the half a point because of that little articulation, because me personally, it's going to bug me every time he's on my shelf. I'm only going to be able to style him in certain ways. So that's our little review on the Boba Fett figure. If you have a chance, this is definitely one you want to try and pick up. He's probably going to be one of the hottest people in this Star Wars line for a while. Who knows who's going to knock off Boba Fett as the top figure, but I look forward to seeing who they do a better job on that dethrones Mr. Boba Fett. So once again, this is Wess K for Figure Friday. Hope you like our little review. Check back soon and we'll see what cool figure we're going to review next.